The Song of the Last Ocean. The Sacred Salt. No one remembered the sea as it had been before. Not even the oldest of the sunken cities. The waves no longer glittered in the sun, for the sun was a myth hidden behind the gray blanket of perpetual storms, and the foam was a bubbling mixture of acid, oil, and the broken sighs of a drowned civilization. But beneath those dark waters, where neither light nor faith reached, something still swam. Something ancient. Something that had learned to wait. They called it Karun, a name inherited from forgotten languages and forbidden songs. It was not a dolphin, nor a god, nor a beast. It was a mixture of all three. Born after the great ocean fever, when the last coral died and the whales began to sing in the key of extinction, Karun emerged in the dead southern seas, where the ice liquefied and released secrets buried for millennia. It had the form of a dolphin, yes, but distorted by centuries of mutation and genetic memory. Its skin was made of metallic scales, sensitive to the Earth's magnetism. Instead of eyes, it had natural lenses that focused sound, and with their echoes it not only hunted, but also dreamed. Because Karun did not sleep. He daydreamed. And in his dreams he traveled through the centuries, remembering the cry of the first ships, the first spill, the last child who laughed on a beach. He was not alone. Around him, thousands of spectral creatures, deformed dolphins, specters of ink and electricity, followed him as if he were a prophet. Because Karun didn't just swim. He sang. And his song could break steel. The Blue Rage. Year 2193. Humans survived in underwater vaults, cities of deep glass fueled by geothermal energy and fear. There were no trees, no birds, no land without poison. The sea was their prison and their last frontier. It was there that the first red tide occurred. Karun and his followers, called the Deep Ones, risen from the abyss during a moonless night. They attacked not like sharks or submarines. They did so like a storm, like an echo, like pure revenge. They emitted a frequency so perfect, so exact, that crystals vibrated, computers crashed, and humans went deaf. Hundreds died just from listening. And so began the silence of the domes. The final war between the ocean and the species that believed it dominated it. But Karun didn't want extermination. She wanted memory. Revenge, yes, but also justice. She wanted the sea to speak for the last time. The language of the end. Some humans resisted. Scientists, madmen, poets caught between lost science and rediscovered magic. One of them, a woman named Lucia Antares, descended into the abyssal crevices in a rusty module, seeking the impossible, to communicate with Karun. And she succeeded. Not with words. With tears. With silence. With ancient music from dead civilizations. She played a flute underwater, connected by vibration, and Karun heard her. She responded. Not with a melody, but with a vision. Lucia saw the entire history of the sea. From trilobites to fallen satellites. He saw whales burning in floating factories, eternal nets trapping generations of fish, and he saw his own reflection, a frightened animal that played God. And Karun showed him something else, the future. An empty ocean. Absolute silence. The last song. On the day of the total eclipse, Karun emerged for the last time. The waters lifted him up like a dying god. Humans, the few that remained, knelt in the coastal ruins, covered in salt and guilt. Karun sang. A single song. As long as a lifetime. As sad as the origin of the world. The waves stopped. The wind died away. The underwater volcanoes silenced their fury. And then, slowly, Karun sank. Not in defeat, but because his purpose was over. The sea had already spoken, and the sea fell silent. It is said that its echo can still be heard on certain nights, when the tide rises for no reason and the fish behave as if they were dancing. The elders tell us that Karun did not die. She merely became a song, an eternal vibration traveling through the currents. And maybe, just maybe, one day, someone will hear it again. And remember,